What's your revenge on a cheating spouse? My spouse cheated on me 25 times that I know about. How do I know this? Because she made a list of 28 names with dates and locations. I was number 3 and all 25 after me were while we were actively married. Granted, I knew she had been cheating. I was deployed 3 separate times between all of them. To say it was a toxic relationship was an understatement. I had a child with her, and so I stayed. The last person I actually caught her with in my bed was from my church. She always said, if I didn't do, enter excuse, then she wouldn't cheat. I didn't even want revenge. I just wanted my kids and I to be happy. So when I caught her I just said, you're done. And with the other man still in my bed she said, if you leave me I'll kill myself. Normally I'd say please baby don't. It's not worth it. This time I just said, bye. Ever since then I've gained full custody of my 2 beautiful children, and I couldn't be more happy. So my revenge was just finally being happy, honestly. While moving out I didn't want to be destructive or petty, but my sister was helping me, and she sure did. I didn't let her destroy any of his video games or DVDs, but he has minor OCD about them, so she opened all of them and put the discs all back in random cases, then put them all back on the shelf in random order. Then she hid a pair of thong panties in his bed for his mistress to find. And there was a disposable camera from I can't remember what that had a few pictures left on it. If he ever gets in developed, he will be greeted by the sight of her asshole. My family is the best. She cheated and then left town to go back to the base we were both stationed at before we both left active duty. After I filed for divorce, I rented a storage container, put her stuff in it, and paid for 1 month of storage, and mailed her a key, and said she had 1 month to come and get it, or it would be auctioned off. One of the boxes had a layer of her stuff she really wanted, 1 layer of every picture, notes she sent me, mementos and our wedding album, and then another layer of more of her stuff. I then found out what day she was coming to get the stuff from one of our mutual friends. The night before, I drove back to our old base and hung out with friends. The day she came to pick up her stuff she called me and asked if we could meet to talk about things. I told her no, since I was in her town, not mine, and that we never needed to speak again. Only time I've ever purposely made someone cry. I don't regret it. Edit. Forgot the word in. When I found out my ex-wife was cheating, we had a long talk, and she was sorry blah blah. I told her I needed a couple of days to think. After a day or 2, I told her that I would forgive her under one condition. She had to find me a woman to sleep with to make us even. After about a week she arranged for a friend of hers and I to meet for the weekend. I banged her all weekend, and when the ex went to work on Monday, I moved all my stuff and myself out and divorced her. She cheated on me at least 5 times with random dudes. I stayed for my beautiful wonderful stepchildren. She eventually left me for some guy who got out of prison for child pornography. She's still with him, but it turns out laws on where sex offenders live are pretty strict in most states. I've gotten her evicted from her home 4 times and counting. My kids are with their grandma because I have no legal rights, but at least I know they are safe. It's sort of a hobby. The best revenge was success. I decided I wasn't going to fall into turmoil like I had before and instead kept my head tight. Started applying to jobs a bit higher than my league, got one, moved away, and recently bought an engagement ring for someone worthwhile. Also, therapy. Instead of falling apart, I put myself together. I remember one of my buddies, as a joke to get back at his ex, decided to buy using her credit card 50 packs of extra small condoms online and have it sent to their front door. The obvious joke being that her new fling had a small ek and couldn't satisfy her as much. She ended up calling the police on him because of this, and he ended up being forced to pay $5,000 in damages. I hate stories like this. Yes, it's setty for the other person to involve themselves in a marriage, but he isn't the one in the marriage. The wife is. This reads like the ex had no repercussions at all, while she should have been the only one to receive repercussions. It's one thing to be etty. It's another to be etty to the wrong person when it was the ex that broke a contract. I found another partner and we are happy and engaged. I don't care what my ex is doing or thinking about me. I still have bad feelings towards her and hate her guts, but I'm progressing on that as well. It takes time. It was explained to me when I was in that if you're stationed overseas with a spouse and get divorced, the military will pay for their ticket back home for up to 1 year after the papers are signed. I was in Guam and the guy on my boat that me ex cheated on me with had to have back surgery in Hawaii. I found out that she went with him, so I immediately ran to the JAG and let them know, and he literally high-fived me that we didn't have to pay for that itch's flight. Flights to and from Guam are expensive AF. Well, apparently mine was to fake an attempt to reconcile with her, make her do things like cut off contact with the ex, be honest with me, and tell me the entire extent of the affair, tell her parents as they thought I was beating her all the time, cut off contact with anybody else who encouraged or knew about the affair, and didn't tell me when I realized that I basically had to force her kicking and screaming to do these kind of things. I decided that I needed to work on me more than I needed to force somebody to do something they didn't want to do. However, since leaving she has actually started to make an effort. I'm currently the belief so that I need some time by myself, so it's not an option getting back together. Ghost them and coldly ignore them. Then again, I'm a guy. One thing that all women love is attention. This girl I was best friend with whom I knew since freshman year of high school, and throughout it was drama after drama after drama. She knew how much I liked her and kept breadcrumbing me. We never went out, but she continuously lead me on and played with me. I'll spare the details because there was so much it coming out both ends. During my first/second year of college she tried to act all sweet and nice, saying she wants only me and wanted to be exclusive. In reality she was doing the same as in high school and fooling around with an ex behind my back. Essentially she was trying to cuckold me so she could fit in with all her friends. She tried to gaslight me saying it's all my fault for everything that happened. I blocked her on everything, and to this day she is trying to contact me. And the worst thing is, every time she tried to contact me, she was trying to sweep everything under the rug and redirect herself in the right. It's not the cheating that I find unforgivable, it's the constant manipulation and drama she caused that I just can't forgive. Last time I checked she's still living at home, gained a bunch more weight. She wasn't particularly attractive to begin with, now that I think of it, and has no friends. While I made numerous friends in college, have an incredible relationship with an incredible woman, and have a degree working in a field I absolutely love. Self-love and self-improvement are the key components to getting back at a cheating and manipulative ex. Cheating ex lead to all of our friends saying I abused her after we broke up due to her cheating. None of my friends believed her, and a few of her friends I met were skeptical enough to text me and ask, so one her best friends, she had two, who were sisters, texted me and asked me, so I told her the truth and she apologized for knowing and not telling me she was hanging out with other guys. I said it was alright and asked if she wanted to get a drink. We didn't hooked up a few times that week and hung out at her house. Then a week or so later I ended up hooking up with her other best friend who was the first best friend's sister. When my ex found out she blew up my phone and apparently went to her best friend's house yelling at them from outside their house till the cops showed up and made her leave. TLDR, ex cheated so I asked her two best friends. A little bit of a different kind of story. My best friend at the time wanted to cheat on her partner with me. She tried for over a year to get me to make a move on her, so I mercilessly teased and denied her and didn't give her the light of day. I only kissed her once between the time she started hitting on me and their breakup. In her defense, she was in a ready relationship and we were mutually interested in each other for a long time. We ended up dating for over a year afterwards, though, and if I had more self-esteem, or was more experienced in relationships, or wasn't completely obsessed with her, I may have been smarter and just not act around with her. Found out my wife was cheating. Booked a flight back to my home country for 2 days later. A lot of tears and heartbreak during those 2 days. Then I loaded all my luggage into the car and the wife was ready to drive me to the airport. I said I had to use the bathroom before we left. Took a massive dump and scrubbed it with her toothbrush, just enough so that she wouldn't see any actual it in it. Funny thing is, I felt kind of bad about it afterwards, but told my family about it, and they all said she deserved it. But also, her cheating was a gift in disguise, because I've since dated and slept with women who are eons more attractive than her, both in looks and personality. So this one time an ex and I were arguing at the time of dating cause he was acting psycho. When he started to leave my house he said that's why the whole time we were together I was cheating on you, and slammed the door. Don't know what came over me, I guess my brain shut off, and I took all his it out to my room, started cutting up the clothing that I purchased, threw it all in the dumpster, and broke his cell phone, and threw it in the dumpster. It was horrible that I did that. Later down the line we talked, and I apologized for everything I'd done, and he told me what he said wasn't true, he was just trying to get under my skin. In today's age I think I'd just walk away and go on about my business and deal with the hurt. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.